everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. It's bright sunshiny afternoon, Thursday afternoon. The birds are eating their food. Fluffy is stretched out on a chair fast asleep, which is great news for the birds. And I have the Halloween tarot on the tarot table because we are almost there. There it is, one of those novelty tarot decks, and it is quite fun to use, but I have to try and get my head around the different suits that this tarot deck uses instead of the normal pentacles and swords and so on. We have pumpkins and ghosts and bats and imps, so I have a little cheat sheet to remind me of what's what. It is Rider-Waite based, this tarot deck, just so you know. And we're going to have a little fun today because I think everyone needs some fun at this point. We're going to play a guessing game today. Now, for those of you who don't know, Harry and Meghan featured, they were in a cameo appearance in The Family Guy. It's an animated comedy series, and there they were. They popped up at their mansion in Montecito, idling the day away, and envelopes full of cash being delivered to them for Instagram posts. And it's gone viral. It's been picked up by others, the advertisers, fast food chains, things like that. It's been commented on all over the place. Unfortunate for a couple who are trying to promote themselves as serious mental health campaigners and brand, invest in us, we're a fantastic brand. And then along they come, Family Guy, and down they go again. And so it's a difficult time for Harry and Meghan. And especially with rumours that South Park might be having episode 2 featuring the Prince and Princess of Canada. And while all of this is going on, the New York Post wrote an article about it, and a commenter popped up in the comment section who is frequently very busy there. Guest speaker. And if you haven't come across a guest speaker, it's quite an interesting study in psychology. Guest speaker, whoever guest speaker is, very fervent supporter of Harry and Meghan, very animated commenter, shall we just say, and a lot of people speculate that it's someone very close to Meghan and Harry, or even one of the Parkles themselves. And in this particular article, the comments were torrid, very riled up, very incensed, very hot under the collar, very upset, quite disturbing to read. So interesting, as I say, from a psychological perspective. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not diagnosing, but just fascinating insight into someone's mental state, whoever the someone is. We are going to use the Halloween tarot and have a little guessing game, play a guessing game and see who it could be. Candidates that have been bandied around are Doria, Harry himself, Omid Scobie, Meghan herself, or a sugar who has taken it upon her or himself to campaign on behalf of Harry and Meghan and defend them in the comment section. So we're going to see those 5 candidates. I think somewhere in there the truth might lie. And then we're going to look and see the state of mind of this person, their intentions in doing this, and how they feel about the pushback from the other commenters in the New York Post, because a vast majority, like 99% of the commenters, are very critical of the grammar, the language, the hypocrisy that's displayed by this person, whoever this person is. And it must be quite difficult, whoever this person is, to deal with this level of pushback. So we're going to have a look at that. And will their identity ever be exposed? So New York Post obviously making tons of money out of this. I imagine, I speculate. And let's remind you, as I shuffle these cards, last used, I think, last Halloween. Maybe I've trotted them out in between. Can't remember. But anyway, let's remind you, it's tarot for fun and entertainment. It's all speculation. It's all my opinion. I read energy here, archetypal energy. And of course, there is a disclaimer in the box below. Please read it and make up your own opinion about the identity of guest speaker. Worth going and having a look, just as I say, for the sake of, from the perspective of amateur psychology, that someone would do this so relentlessly, despite all the pushback that comes from people take the mickey and really don't buy anything that this person is saying. So there we go. Hope we can fit everything in. I think we can, sort of. Just bash the camera. Sorry about that. I know it can make you a bit seasick. Make me a bit seasick. There we are. Strange looking spread, but I know what's going on. We got the Page of Ghosts. That's the Page of Cups. That is emotional communication. I'm going to bring out the next underlying energy as well, just by the way. It's the 10 of Ghosts in reverse. That's the 10 of Cups in reverse. That's someone very unhappy. And somebody who's doing their best to communicate and to try and appeal to people from an emotional perspective. And guest speaker does this a lot. But there is a lot of resentment in the comments towards other royals, towards Father Thomas, towards Sister Samantha, who of Meghan, obviously, and Catherine in particular, and Camilla gets it in the neck quite often from guest speaker. But this is very emotional communication, Page of Ghosts, but coming from quite a junior perspective. This is not somebody who's coming across as super important. They're masquerading, if they are masquerading, as somebody who's more humble. Not humble. Humble's a completely wrong word, but less, not a celebrity, not a somebody super important. Page of Ghosts, Page of Cups, and coming from a very unhappy place. 10 of Cups in reverse. I need that energy out here because there is a tremendous amount of upset in the comments and under this Family Guy article, particularly. Very difficult. Apparently there was a British TV discussion about how bad this was for Harry and Meghan's mental health. And difficult, as I say, for a couple who's very public, very intent on branding themselves, selling a certain narrative, to find that they're the butt of jokes now in the United States. It was bad enough in Britain, apparently so bad that they had to leave, but now so awful in America, now that seemingly big TV series have turned against them. So the candidates, first one is Doria. Doria over here. Doria is a Doria, Hierophant in reverse. That's a mummy. That's somebody who doesn't like the royal family. That's for sure. Hierophant in reverse. And there is a hidden energy in here. So it could be. Some people speculate that it's a bit of a game of tag. And when one can't be doing it, someone else picks up and carries on, because of course they're busy, they're out and about, they're babysitting, allegedly, all of fitting fancy clothes, dining out, going on trips overseas. It's hard life. So somebody, it's possible there, because it's major arcana. I wasn't expecting Doria, honestly. I thought she would be more low-key, more content to just hang out and not get involved in things like this. But it's a Hierophant in reverse that's very resentful towards the royal family, which is the Hierophant. The establishment, anti-establishment, rule-breaking, rebellious. The Hierophant is also doing the right thing, taking the high road, acting out of integrity. And so you could say if this is somebody who is pretending to be just a Page of Ghosts, but is actually someone much closer to the famous couple themselves, then it is taking a bit of a low road. My opinion, of course, I'm expressing my opinion here. So she's possible. She's a possible candidate here. She might have her marching orders with a Hierophant in reverse, carrying out someone else's instructions. How about Harry? Some people say because of the bad spelling and grammar and whatever that it could be him. Sounds more female to me. 9 of Pumpkins in reverse. That's a 9 of Pentacles in reverse. This is somebody who's lonely, somebody who's spending a lot of time on their own, who is feeling the pain financially, not really connecting. It's not giving me spending time at a computer or on a phone clapping back. It's not giving me that energy. It's giving me more lonely, wandering lonely as a cloud kind of energy. Nine of Pumpkins in reverse. Somebody who's concerned about the way their life has turned out, and I don't think is particularly interested in anyone else's stories at the moment. A self-absorbed energy coming to me off that Nine of Pumpkins in reverse. I'm not getting him. I'm not getting communication from that card. Nine of Pentacles in reverse is more likely to be lonely by yourself, sitting in a hotel room. Why would you sit in a hotel room and bash away on a keyboard or on your phone? You would probably be playing computer games, drinking, hanging out, not doing this. I don't get it from Harry. We can clarify if none of them comes through as a main contender. How about Omid? We know Omid is very busy on social media. We know Harry does have social media, just to say. He's not exempt. He quite famously has social media, Harry. I can't remember the name of the account now. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's been shut down since. But back in the day, it was quite obvious that it was his Instagram account. How about Omid Scobie? Omid. King of Bats in reverse. Could be. Could be because bats are swords in this little tarot deck. And there is somebody, a king of swords. The King of Swords is going to be someone who is busy communicator. He is a communicator. He's an author. Omid is busy with his second volume on the royal family, the end of the royal family, according to the title of this book, Endgame. He might be too busy right now, proofreading and updating and whatever else he's doing. But King of Bats is possible because it's in reverse. It can be surreptitious. It can be undercover. That sword is pointing down, which usually means silence, but it can also mean deception when the sword is pointing down. So this kind of silence where it's a silent, ghostly kind of presence who you don't know who they are. Page of Ghosts. So the King of Bats being the Page of Ghosts. Possible. I've got two possibles here. I don't think Harry, I think Doria could be in on it. I think Omid could be in on it. Could be a team effort. Could definitely be a team effort with these cards. As I say, this person is busy, and there might be notes because there's a lot of repetition. There's comments that are just word for word the same over and over and over and over, trotted out quite savagely, but not with much new information. Sometimes there is quite startling information. Let's look at Megan. And her, is it possibly her, according to the energy of these cards, speculating. Four of Pumpkins, that is the Four of Pentacles. That is somebody who's hanging on to something, who's desperately clinging on to something. I'm not getting communication there as such. I'm surprised by that. Because my personal feeling is that it's very much her, it's very much led by her, and that she's the one busy doing it. But it's that hanging on energy that could be. Four of Pumpkins can be a bit obsessively hanging on to something, to your money, to your status, desperately trying to reinforce that money and that status and that position, that ranking. Trying to stay in control of a narrative. I often say that with the Four of Pentacles, Four of Pumpkins, that this is somebody who's trying to stay in control of the narrative. So definitely not writing her off here. It's I'm seeing a team that's beginning to emerge here. How about some crazy sugar who just has taken it upon him or herself to do this as a freebie to support the Sussexes? Crazy sugar. Four of Imps in reverse is Four of Wands in reverse. That is a breakup, a family that's broken up, a little bit unhinged, because fours are about stability. And the Four of Wands, Four of Imps that's showed up here is in reverse, so that's unstable. Somebody who is a bit unstable, literally, and who feels, again, has it in for the royal family, because the Four of Wands is very often the royal family, the firm, in these readings. So I'm getting that it could be quite a few of them. I was hoping that one of the contenders would really step up and say, it's me. And as far as major arcana goes, we've got Doria, and no, only Doria is major arcana, but it's major arcana in reverse, Hierophant in reverse. I think there's something about the Hierophant that I'm missing. That has got a message for me that I'm missing. It's ticking over in the back of my mind as I'm doing this. Hard to do these things on the fly because cards have so many meanings, and when you focus on one particular area of the meaning, you sometimes tend to overlook other things that maybe don't show up in these royal readings. Omid's coming out as a very strong contender. Megan controlling the narrative, and we do have crazed energy over here of somebody who's a bit unstable, somebody who's very disappointed in the way things have gone, and out and attacking. So I'm getting a team that takes turns to do it. I'm not getting one in particular that's the busy one. Whoever was very busy under this article yesterday, I think it was yesterday, was very, very busy, but possibly a team effort. State of mind of whoever this is, or the collective whoever's, while they're doing this, are they? A lot of people think maybe a bit drunk or high, angry. What's the mental state of this person? King of Cups, very emotional. We've got this, and it could be a drinking card. Person is holding a cup, the King of Ghosts, so that the cups always signify some level of intoxication possible in the energy. We're just reading energy, of course. It's powerful energy, though. The King of Cups is somebody who's trying to control their emotions. They're trying to stay, not lose their grip. Which brings me to this Four of Pumpkins, as somebody who really is trying to control the narrative. The King of Cups, King of Ghosts, commonly, conventionally in tarot, is somebody who's mastered their emotions and doesn't allow their emotions to sway them. So they're working very hard. It's kind of strange energy that's coming through, I have to say. This person, whoever it is working very hard to stay on top of their emotions and not allow them to overwhelm them. And that's why it sometimes sounds a bit reciting something by rote. They've got their little crib sheet, like I have my little crib sheet here next to me with the questions written on them, so that they make sure that they always get the points bashed out, the right points. Ties to this underlying energy, but this underlying energy is very unhappy, but trying to cover it up. And trying to appeal to people. So what is the motive for doing this? Why this relentless... we've got the Hermit. We've got the Hermit, which is, of course, Harry. If that had come up there, I would be saying, oh, well, actually, it's Harry. But it's Harry energy. The Hermit, of course, the Virgo. But it's the person who is the expert, the advisor, the authority on something. You can read the Hermit as that. The Hierophant as well, just by the way. But this is somebody who's by themselves and wanting to provide the guidance, steer something in a certain direction. The Hermit normally is not in a laboratory making terrible experiments. The Hermit normally has a lantern and they're going in the dark, and sometimes they lead people through the dark. This is the intention. This is the intention to control the narrative, to establish the Hermit Harry as the authority, as the rightful heir to the throne, the couple as very loved up, everybody else in the royal family awful, particularly Catherine and William and Camilla and Charles, for that matter. The same narrative over and over about Charles and how treacherous he was in his marriage with Diana and Camilla as well. And then William and Catherine, awful people. And only Harry and Meghan are the true and decent ones. And this is this, we are the guiding light. We are going to steer you in this direction that you need to be steered in. How do they feel about the pushback from people correcting their grammar and pointing out their hypocrisy and their lies and all the rest of it? How do they feel about that? Page of Pumpkins in reverse, Page of Pentacles in reverse. It's humiliating because the Page of Pentacles is the student, the someone who's at school learning stuff, and it's in reverse. It's being pointed out to them relentlessly that they are failing in their studies, that they didn't study properly, they didn't learn spelling and grammar and all that stuff. It didn't take. Getting it wrong, Page of Pumpkins. It's infantilizing them, reducing them to students, to failed students, to people who still need to learn stuff. So it's embarrassing, it's humiliating. They don't like it, but it's not driving them crazy. I was expecting a much crazier energy in this reading, I have to say. Quite strange that it's coming out much less crazy than I expected it to come out. It's just coming out as relentless, as needing to control this, needing to push this energy, the Hermit, elevate him and bring the royal family down. We're getting a very clear message twice. It's repeated it for me twice, that the royal family needs to be diminished and he needs to be elevated. And this is in the purpose why position, this card. So it's very important that this is what is going on here. I don't think he's behind it. I don't think he's involved in it with that Nine of Pumpkins in reverse. I think he's out on his own little story. But I think the rest of them, my opinion, the rest of them are in on it at some level and possibly take turns to do it. So outcome, is this going to be revealed? Are we going to find out the true identity of guest speaker, whoever guest speaker is? Yes, we are. Oh, wow. This is the Seven of Bats. Bats are swords. The Seven of Bats upright, somebody getting away with it, disappearing under cover of darkness, having stolen something or done something wrong. In reverse, being exposed. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We have a 7 there. It could be that it happens in a factor of 7. 7 weeks would be 7 of Swords, 7 of Bats. Normally, traditionally in tarot, counting in tarot, but we might see something emerge later on this year. Actually, it might slip out. It's the sense of slipping out or being exposed. Definitely. So my sense of this, and of course it is just my opinion, have to remind you, disclaimer in the box below, is that this is a joint effort, that there are quite a few of them in on this with the intention of diminishing the royal family and elevating the status, particularly, interestingly, of Prince Harry. Quite weird, the need to elevate him, even though I don't think he's involved. You might disagree with me, but I don't get it. I get that they don't like the criticism at all because it exposes them as being ignorant and quite junior and childish and silly and stupid. Page of Pumpkins in reverse. They're trying very hard to control their emotions and come across as not completely crazy. Trying very, very hard to do this. But this is an interesting card for me. There's people who are very, very unhappy, very upset, and trying very hard to maintain dominance and keep the narrative going, which is why I say they seem to have these set arguments, talking points that they repeat over and over and over and over and don't really deviate from, and that's because of this Four of Pumpkins needing to control the narrative. But I've got very interesting here, she's the only one who's upright, need to control the narrative. The rest of them have their own little axes to grind. It's interesting. We've got someone who's very disappointed, a sugar potentially, who's very disappointed at the way things have played out with the royal family, can't believe it. It could be a person of colour with that one's energy. We have got Hermit, who's coming up as the King of Bats in reverse, so quite dominant in this male energy, definitely. And we've got Doria, interestingly, the Hierophant in reverse, who I'm interpreting that card, my sense of it, the energy in that card is that she's very, very aggrieved at the royal family, and it's because it's a rebellious energy going against tradition and status and something like that. She wants to, it's like an act of rebellion against the royal family, a clap back against the royal family. So these to me are all people who feel somehow inferior at some level, again my opinion, wounded, hurt, put down at some level for some reason, possibly background, possibly race, possibly things like that, and are taking an opportunity to have to vent their feelings in the comments section. That is, of course, just my opinion. That's it for now. Revelation coming at some point, exposure coming at some point, I would say quite soon. And so it'd be interesting to see what emerges at that point. But that's it. That's the reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next